Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome back to PokeResearch. In the last segment, we tackled whether or not Pokemon battles are related to cockfighting and or dogfighting, and now we will tackle a segment that is similar to that. And in this one, we will talk about the moralities of capturing Pokemon in the wild. Now, this one is sort of related to the last one because Pokemon's been getting a lot of flack over capturing Pokemon in the middle of the wild and stuff like that. And the reason it's been getting so much of this is because all people saw was that you're taking animals from the wild and then putting them against each other in battle. And in order to capture a Pokemon, you need to weaken it first. Like, you can't just capture a Pokemon on full health. Now, a lot of people usually counter this argument by asking, well, what's the difference between that and having a pet? Well, obviously, when you go to the pet store, you don't have to battle your pet. I mean, could you imagine that, just fighting off against Poochie? Anyway, you don't have to fight off against your pet, so there's a huge difference. You have to beat up this poor animal and then capture it, and then it's no longer in its home anymore. Now it's in a battle. So, is this moralistically wrong? Well, this one has more of a yes or no to it than the last one, where I completely debunked the battles and made them seem more like boxing matches and good sportsmanship fights. Whereas this one can have a yes or no to it, but I will try my best to cater to the Pokemon fans over this issue because I love Pokemon and I don't want to see its good name being completely tarnished or mixed up with animal abuse. So, let's get into this. I will start off by putting in a bit of history for those of y'all who don't know. About 7,000 BC, humans have been domesticating animals to use for several different things. Not just using animals as food or a fur or, other goods, but we've also been using animals as a means of partnership in hunting. Dogs were actually domesticated around this time in order to assist humans with hunting. They would either help, hunt the other animal completely, or they would be spotter dogs in order to spot out the said animal, and then they would be rewarded by some of the game that was collected by the hunters. So, it was more of a symbiotic relationship, and that's the overall core between humans and Pokemon. Is a symbiotic relationship. The humans take care of the Pokemon, and the Pokemon end up getting stronger, and the Pokemon uses its strength in order to assist in battle. Now, let's talk about the anime first, because the anime is the one that's least guilty for this. For a lot of parts in the entire series, Ash Ketchum actually catches his Pokemon in a different way rather than battling them, usually by gaining the Pokemon's trust, and the Pokemon ends up joining Ash's team, and then that's how that ends up going. Another method is usually where the Pokemon will choose to battle the trainer and their Pokemon, and then they will engage in battle, and then that's how the battle will go out and the trainer would catch said Pokemon. The other way is usually when they're spotted and then they battle, but that rarely happens in the anime. Yeah, I'm guessing it's trying to keep more of a moralistical, healthy value of capturing Pokemon with them gaining friendship and companionship. So, now, let's talk about the video games. First, I could just say it's a video game and end it off right there. In fact, I will. See you guys. I'm just kidding, I can't do that. In the video games, Pokemon more or less are seen in the wild and then captured, and then that's how it's done. They're battled and then captured. However, no one ever stops to recollect what's going on when you're walking in the grass. You're peacefully walking in the grass, and then all of a sudden, it says a wild whatever it is appeared. You're not looking for it, it found you. So in a way, You're not really taking the Pokemon and just randomly pointing it out and battling it. It's not like I went outside, looked for a bird, beat the crap out of it, and then captured it. No, it's more of a, oh, this Pokemon attacked you. You're trying to defend yourself. So in other words, self-defense! Self-defense! He was coming right at me. Anyway, so this Pokemon spots you. There's even been moments where, like, the Pokemon that you stepped on appeared, which is prominent in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where you accidentally step on a Pokemon. The Pokemon fights back and you try to defend yourself and wind up capturing it. So, is this moralistically wrong? No, not in a sense. It actually feels more like you're defending yourself here. So, in a way, I can definitely say that you're not going out of your way to just start finding and capturing Pokemon. Although, the thing about it is, intentionally as a gamer, if you want to capture a certain Pokemon, you know what route it is, then yeah, you are looking for that Pokemon so that it can join your team. Now, let's tackle that. The thing about it is, the Pokemon here, first off, aren't animals. I think Tamashi Hakurai, I'm sorry if I botched her name, covered this in one of her videos. I'll probably put a link in the description there. And she basically stated that these are monsters. We live in a fictional world where monsters exist. And these monsters, like I said, spotted you. You're defending yourself against the monsters, and you're capturing the monsters so that they can join your team. So with that being said, the monsters actually rely on you to be stronger. Notice that a lot of Pokemon in all of the video games don't really have their evolved forms unless you yourself go out of your way to train them. Some Pokemon can only evolve using a trainer's happiness. Some Pokemon evolve via a certain stone or item that only trainers would know to carry. So, long story short, it's up to you as a person in order to make these Pokemon evolve and develop. The Pokemon rely on you in order to get stronger. Hell, I even think it's to a point where some of the moves that exist within the anime and the video games wouldn't exist unless a human was the one implementing these moves towards the Pokemon. The Pokemon are the ones that learn these moves based on the training that they've received from you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, what if a Pokemon doesn't want to battle? There's actually showing proof of this that reoccurs in the anime, where there are certain Pokemon that just don't want to fight. If I believe it correctly, James actually had Mime Jr. and Chimecho, who he refused to have participate in Pokemon battles. He didn't want them to get hurt. He cared about them. And he's from Team Rocket, the evil organization. So, long story short, what I'm trying to say is that Pokemon depend on people that will treat them right. Even in real life, there aren't exactly humans that treat their pets correctly. You can see it all the time on TV where they sing the In the Arms of the Angel song, where all of these animals come back from places where they were mistreated, abused, neglected, and all of that. Because of that, we confirm that even in the real world, there's people who are going to mistreat animals. So, why wouldn't the same thing be apparent towards Pokemon? Like I said, there was an episode where Damien completely just neglected Charmander. So, the anime does tackle the fact that there's neglectful people out there who do exist. So, at this point, is it right to capture a Pokemon from the wild and keep it as your own and make it fight off against other Pokemon? Well, it's not really against their will now that we really start to think about it. If we can recollect, if you trade Pokemon with another person, that Pokemon will just plain not follow its orders. Yeah, that's right, the Pokemon will just go ahead and make its own decisions, or just plain not battle. This is because the Pokemon finds the trainer unworthy of using it in battle. So, if anything, the Pokemon actually rely on these people. Some of these Pokemon out here are actually hoping to get captured. It's kind of weird, like Viva Pinata, where the Pinatas actually want to be bought and they want to be smashed into pieces. Yeah. If anyone's ever watched Viva Pinata, let me know, because I only saw it once, and I figured, hey, I can use that as a reference. Anyway, the Pokemon rely on the people. The Pokemon actually show a form of respect to the trainers that are actually strong enough in order to control them. We even see proof that there's certain Pokemon in the world, like Alakazam, that are much smarter than the people. However, they do rely on the people in order to make them stronger. So, with all of that being said, I don't really view it as us taking the Pokemon from its natural habitat and using it in battle, because first of all, we domesticate animals all the time. More than half of the pets that we have as humans obviously were in their natural habitat at some point, and now they're pets to people. Somebody out there has like a lizard and a snake and all these other crazy. Some people have hawks and falcons as pets. Do you think that they were ever just always pets? No, they were in nature. Now, at this point, it just becomes a matter of, oh, are we endangering the species? Well, let's look at it this way. Pokemon are supposed to be rare. Now, I could just say this is a video game and there's tons of Pokemon that will always reappear because they're programmed into the game. And I'll do that. That's it. Bye, everybody. Okay, I'm not fooling you guys twice. I'm sorry. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that a lot of Pokemon inhabit the planet. This is a reoccurring thing that happens several times. So, in a way, there's no way we can really endanger the world because there's tons of Pokemon. Now, as far as the legendaries, that's a completely different story for a completely different video. But, anyway, let's tackle whether or not it's okay to take the Pokemon from their natural habitats, just in case that you didn't like the video game theory. Okay, I'm going to open you all up with a scenario. Imagine, if you will, a Viridian Forest. It's nice, it's luscious, it's green, it's home to many bug Pokemon. Like Caterpie, for example. Now, let's take this Caterpie. What is this Caterpie surrounded by? Well, obviously, the Caterpie is surrounded by several different bug-type Pokemon. Metapod, Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill, Butterfree probably. Although Beedrill and Butterfree aren't really in Viridian Forest, it's up to you to train your bug Pokemon up to become Butterfrees and Beedrills. Hence the whole Pokemon rely on you thing. But what else is in Viridian Forest? Oh yeah, that's right, Rattatas and Pidgeys. And in yellow version, Pidgeotos. Now, why is this, what does this have to do with anything? Well, Caterpie is known as the worm Pokemon. And as we can see, Pidgeotto and Pidgey are known to eat worms. That means that if there's swarms of Pidgeys around, and then a Caterpie is about to be eaten, and then all of a sudden, something shows up in the distance. Who's that? It's you! Yeah, you battle that Caterpie, you capture that Caterpie, and you end up using that Caterpie in battles. It gets stronger, it evolves into Butterfree. What I'm trying to say here is that if it weren't for you capturing that Caterpie, it would have been some Pidgey chow. Now I know what you're thinking, well, what about Pidgey? They're safe. Not exactly. There's something else in the Viridian Forest. Pikachu! That's right, Pikachu are electric type Pokemon. An electric type Pokemon can basically kill flying type Pokemon. So what I'm saying is that in order to keep Pokemon alive as far as the food chain, it's up to you to actually capture these Pokemon. And then let's not forget about overpopulation. When an area is so populated that animals don't have enough resources in order to live. Yeah, because there's too many of them. So it's up to you as a trainer to capture these Pokemon so that you can feed them and take care of them. And then that way there'll still be plenty of wild Pokemon that can, you know, feed off of the land and live via that way. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that it's up to you as a trainer in order to capture these Pokemon, to treat them right, in order to take care of them as if they were your own children or pets or whatever. And just take care of them. Yeah, there's bad people out there. There obviously always are going to be, whether it's in the real world or in the Pokemon world. So with that said, I believe that capturing Pokemon is not in any shape or form a crime. So with that, well, another thing to note, Ian is like a trainer that tackles this issue in Pokemon Black and White. So yeah. But with that said, everybody needs to just chill out and do your research. This has been Tyrone the God 3.